You know, when you're on dating apps and you just get that swipe fatigue, like every profile just starts blurring together.
Oh, tell me about it. It's
Yeah.
like you're judging people solely on a few photos, and it just feels so, I don't know, superficial.
Yeah, exactly. And it makes you wonder if you're even giving people a fair shot?
Right.
We're looking at this brand new app that's supposed to launch in 2025. It's called Tribal, and it's trying to do something totally different.
Different how?
So, get this. For the first 72 hours after you match with someone, their profile picture is completely blurred.
Whoa, hold on. You're telling me you can't see the person you matched with at all?
Nope, not for the first 3 days.
That's wild. I kind of love it.
Right, it's like a total shakeup of the whole dating app formula.
So what are we waiting for? Let's unpack this tribal thing.
So let's start with the why. Why did someone decide to create an app that literally hides people's faces?
Well, the founder, Rachel Harker, is actually a clinical psychologist.
Okay, interesting. So she's coming at this from a mental health perspective.
Exactly. She noticed this trend of increasing loneliness and saw how traditional dating apps were kind of contributing to that, or at least not really helping.
That makes sense. Like, you spend all this time swiping, matching, and chatting, but it rarely leads to anything meaningful.
Right, and it can be pretty disheartening. You might even start to feel bad about yourself, like you're not good enough.
Yeah, the self-doubt spiral. I've been there.
Harker actually calls out traditional dating apps for being kind of superficial and even unethical in some ways.
Unethical. How
Yeah.
so?
Well, she points to those hidden algorithms and subscription models. They often make these big promises about finding you the perfect match, but it feels like it's more about keeping you on the app longer.
Yeah, totally. Like, the longer you're swiping and paying, the better it is for them, regardless of whether you're actually finding what you're looking for.
Exactly. And then there's the whole swipe culture thing. Harker argues that it's kind of messed with our brains a bit.
How so?
It's like we're constantly evaluating people based on these fleeting glimpses, and it trains us to always be looking for the next best thing.
So instead of appreciating the connections we do make, we're always wondering if there's someone better just a swipe away.
Right, and that can make it really hard to actually invest in a relationship. It's almost like we've become numb to the whole process.
And this isn't just about dating either. It's kind of seeped into how we approach all kinds of relationships, even friendships.
Absolutely. It's this constant cycle of comparison and objectification.
And think about the scale of this. The article mentioned over 350 million people worldwide use dating apps.
Wow, that's a huge number of people potentially being affected by this.
And in Australia, it's almost half of all adults. So if these apps are having a negative impact on mental health, it's a pretty big deal.
No kidding. So back to Tribal, it sounds like it's trying to offer a different kind of experience, one that's more focused on building genuine connections.
Exactly. And they're doing that through a compatibility-based matching system.
Okay, so instead of just swiping based on photos, how does it work?
So they have this pretty in-depth questionnaire, 44 questions for dating and 33 for finding friends.
That's a lot more questions than I'm used to seeing on dating apps.
Right. And get this, Harker said every single question is backed by scientific research.
Oh, wow. So they're not messing around. They're really trying to get to the heart of what makes people compatible.
Yeah, it's not just about your favorite color or what kind of music you like. It's digging deeper into your values, your communication style, all that good stuff.
So how do you actually see these potential matches? And how do you get a sense of their values without seeing their photo?
Okay, so this is where it gets really cool. They have this feature called the tribal map.
A map, like a literal map.
Not exactly. It's more like a visual representation of your values.
Okay, go on.
Imagine your core values are shown as different segments of a circle, with the size of each segment representing how important that value is to you.
Okay, I'm starting to picture it.
So the AI then shows you a similar circle for your potential match. You can instantly see where your values align and where they might differ.
Oh, that's actually really clever. It's like a compatibility radar. You can see right away if you're on the same page.
Exactly. And it can lead to some really interesting conversations like, hey, I noticed we both really value adventure. What's the most adventurous thing you've ever done?
Oh, I love that. It's so much more engaging than just, hey, how's your day going?
Right. But okay, let's address the elephant in the room. How do you get a sense of someone's personality when you can't even see what they look like?
Well, Tribal has thought of that too. They have a voice memo feature.
Oh, interesting. So you can hear their voice before you see their face.
Exactly. And think about how much you can learn about someone just from their voice.
It's true. You can get a sense of their energy, their humor, their overall vibe.
And sometimes A voice can be just as captivating as a photo. Right?
Absolutely. So, back to the big question. The 72-hour blur. What can you actually see during that initial period?
So you'll see their first name, their age, and a general idea of their location. But that's it. No photos.
And the whole point of this is to force people to look beyond the superficial, right?
Exactly. Harker said they designed it to reduce those snap judgments based solely on looks.
And to give people a chance to connect on a deeper level, based on shared values, interests, and personality.
Right, and they're not saying physical attraction isn't important, but it's about shifting the focus.
It's like build that foundation first, see if there's a genuine spark, and then let the physical attraction come into play.
It's almost like meeting someone in real life, where you might strike up a conversation and connect with their personality before you even really notice their physical features.
Yeah, exactly. It's like taking it back to basics, focusing on what really matters in a connection.
And to get started, all you need is a mobile number and an email address. No need to connect your social media or anything like that.
Okay, so the big question now is, would we actually use this app?
That's a good one.
Let's start with the potential benefits of the 72-hour blur. Do you think it could actually lead to deeper conversations right from the start?
I think it definitely has the potential. By taking away that initial visual distraction, you're forced to engage with their profile, their answers to those in-depth questions, their voice memo. You're actually getting to know them, not just judging them on a photo.
I agree. And that emphasis on shared values and communication styles through the questionnaire and the tribal map seems way more promising than just swiping through endless photos.
Plus, it can help you avoid those situations where you match with someone based solely on looks, and then the conversation just fizzles out.
Been there, done that.
Okay.
Okay, but what about the potential downsides? Wouldn't some people find it frustrating not to see a photo right away?
I'm sure some people would. For some, that initial visual spark might be really important, even if it's just to pique their interest.
Yeah, and some people might feel awkward or hesitant to start a conversation without having that visual element to connect with.
And then there's the big reveal after the 72 hours. What happens if you've built this amazing connection, but then you see their photo and you're just not physically attracted to them?
That's the big unknown, isn't it? Could all that connection building be undermined by a photo?
It's definitely a risk.
Ah.
But the hope is that by that point, you've already established something deeper, something that goes beyond just physical attraction.
So thinking about it personally, based on everything we've learned about tribal, I think I'd be willing to give it a shot.
Me too. I mean, I've definitely had my fair share of experiences where initial attraction didn't lead to a lasting connection.
Exactly. And I like the idea of prioritizing those deeper elements first. It just feels like a more mature and potentially more fulfilling approach to dating.
Plus, it's refreshing to see an app that's actually trying to address the negative aspects of dating app culture.
Absolutely. So to recap, Tribal is this new app that's launching in 2025, and it's trying to revolutionize online dating by blurring profile photos for the first 72 hours of a match.
The founder, Rachel Harker, is a clinical psychologist who created the app in response to concerns about loneliness and the negative impact of traditional dating apps.
And they're using a compatibility-based matching system with a detailed questionnaire and a cool tribal map feature to visualize shared values.
Plus, the voice memo feature adds a unique touch, allowing you to hear someone's voice before you see their photo.
Does Tribal's approach resonate with you?
Do you think removing that immediate visual element could lead to more meaningful connections?
Or do you believe initial attraction still plays a vital role right from the start?
It's something to think about as you navigate your own dating journey.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into Tribal. We'd love to hear your thoughts on this new app.